What's up, what's happening? It's movie time with D. It is October, which means I get to spend the entire month watching a bunch of scary movies, which means I get to make a bunch of reviews for a lot of my favorite horror films. So, to start off this marathon of scary movie reviews, I've decided to talk about a movie that scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid. And that movie was Jeepers Creepers. This movie came out in 2001, so I was 9 years old when my father took me to see this. And as soon as the movie started, right off the bat, there's the famous scene of the truck honking its loud horn trying to run Trish and Derry off the road. I remember it being so loud in that theater. My heart was beating out of my chest. And Derry screaming, "Go around me! Go around me!" And his sister's like, "Just let him pass you, Derry!
Just get out of his way, Derry!"
What the f you think I'm trying to do? He didn't say that back to her, but he should have. I was thinking already at that moment though, I am not going to be able to finish this movie. If I am this scared right now, there's no way. So anyways, a brother and a sister are on a long road trip back home from college to visit their family, and they discover some dead bodies in the basement of an old church. And the creature that is responsible for all of those dead bodies is hunting them down and putting them through all sorts of crazy hell. What is he? What does he want? Where did he come from? Why is he chasing them down the road honking his horn so loud? These are all the things they're trying to figure out as they try to survive the night. The main stars of this movie are Justin Long and Gina Phillips. And at the time, Justin Long wasn't that big of an actor. But after this movie, it was very obvious and clear that this guy was awesome to see on the big screen. He was definitely the standout star here with super high energy and very convincing fear. That was one of the things that had me so terrified as a kid. Seeing him actually look genuinely scared made me scared. When he's screaming at the radio, "That's the song!" And you can hear Jeepers Creepers playing on the radio. Once again, I was like, all right, this is my cue to leave. But I didn't. I sat there and I endured that crazy ass scene of the creeper eating that tongue out of the police officer's head. Traumatized, unable to even comprehend what the hell I was watching. I'm serious, at that moment in time, this was the scariest movie I had ever seen in my life. And speaking of that song, it was such an iconic song in horror movie history. Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Freddy Krueger has his own theme, Jason has his own theme, Michael Myers has his own theme, and that song is 100% the theme for Jeepers Creepers the movie. That song came out in like the 30s, but it will forever be known as the creepy ass song from the Jeepers Creepers movie. And the song itself made the ending so much more impactful, but we'll get to that later. They really don't make iconic characters like this anymore. If you look back at all the old horror movies, there is a long list of iconic horror villains. And when Jeepers Creepers came out, the creeper was instantly added to that list. He's one of the scariest characters ever. And you don't even really see him clearly until the end of the movie. And that right there is exactly why he was so scary. I could go on a long rant on why I think Jeepers Creepers 2 wasn't as good and why Jeepers Creepers 3 is complete trash and it's not scary at all. But I'll just say this. We didn't even know who was inside that truck that was honking at Trish and Derry, but it was heart racing. It was nerve wracking. Even when they saw him dumping those things down the pipe. Things wrapped in a sheet. Things wrapped and roped in a sheet. Things wrapped and roped in a sheet with red stains on it. He was mysterious, and there was fear in wondering what he'd look like when he's not hiding in the shadows. They built suspense and terror gradually without even showing us what he really was. In part 2, they kind of stuck to that formula, but they definitely showed a lot more of him. But in part 3, they got his ass 100% visible in broad daylight. You can clearly see his face throughout the entire film. There's no mystery or suspense in that. When you do it that way, a few minutes into the movie, he's not even scary anymore. Plus, they turned him into something that has like telekinetic powers or some shit. I don't know, I don't even want to talk about it. Let's get back on the classic. So, I did say my father took me to see this as a kid, but I never said I finished the entire movie. I tried to be as brave as possible, but I did end up walking out of the theater. There was this scene where they got to this old lady's house who had a bunch of cats all over the place, and you could barely see her face because it was dark, but they needed to ask her to use her phone, and they looked to the right, and boom, there's a scarecrow. But it's not a scarecrow, of course. And it was so eerie and creepy that I was sinking into the bottom of my chair. You can hear all the cats meowing, and then shit just hit the fan, and I was like, all right, I'm out. I left the room and walked next door to the next theater and finished what was left of the glass house. So I didn't get to finish the movie until it came out on DVD. Yes, DVD.
Jeepers Creepers. Now available on DVD.
But I finally finished the movie, and I was even scared while watching it at home. I'm older now, and of course I've rewatched this movie 100 times, and still, to this day, Jeepers Creepers somehow still holds up. It is indeed a classic horror film. I think what I love so much about it is that it all takes place during one day, so the story feels very tight and paced very well. I don't want to spoil the ending to this movie because there's probably a few people watching this that actually haven't ever seen this movie. I remember seeing it and feeling so bad and feeling so shocked. It's a scene that I'll remember forever. Screw it, I'm gonna talk about it. If you don't want to be spoiled by anything, fast forward about 30 seconds. So the creeper's holding on to Derry, he picks him up and flies away, and on the ending scene, the camera's down low in some sewer type area. It's very wet and dark, and you can hear the Jeepers Creepers song playing on the radio. You see the creeper sewing something, and then we see Derry propped up, dead, with no eyeballs. And the camera gets closer and closer, showing us deep inside the empty holes. And then the creeper appears behind his head. What? There's no happy ending? Derry doesn't survive? He was such a good person. I felt terrible for him. I still feel bad for him, but talk about a perfect horror movie ending. It doesn't get much better than that. As I said before, this movie still holds up. It's just as entertaining as it was almost 20 years ago. My God, I just said 20 years. Damn. I feel old as shit now. Anyways, I love this movie, and it is definitely one of my favorite horror films of all time. That's it for today's movie review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to it already. Expect the new Addams Family movie review being uploaded to my channel this weekend. Have a great day, go watch some movies, and I'll see you on the next movie review.